It's time for the Wednesday Word of the Week, and this week we're looking at inheritance. The verb I inherit, the noun inheritance, and the other noun inheritor. So let's take a look at the three words first. Kleronomeo is the verb I inherit, kleronomia is inheritance, and kleronomos is inheritor. You'll notice that there's a great consistency in the two parts of these compound words. Let's take a look at kleros, which is a lot or a portion, and nomos, which is the law. So an inheritance, or the act of inheriting, regards a lawful allotment, the portion that's prescribed by law, or the part that's allotted in a will. What has been set aside for someone as a legal transfer of property after someone has passed or when someone reaches their fullness of their age. So let's take a look at a couple uses specifically of the noun. We'll start with Romans chapter 8, verses 16 and 17. And I'm reading from the ESV, and I have supplied the Koine words into the verse where we see inheritance and inheritors. So let's take a peek here. The Spirit himself bears witness with our spirit that we are children of God. And if children, then heirs, kleronomoi. Heirs, kleronomoi, of God, and fellow heirs, soon kleronomoi, with Christ, provided we suffer with him, in order that we may also be glorified with him. So the first thing we see is in verse 17 is a condition. So there's a first-class condition established. If children, also heirs. The ESV says then heirs, but it's kai kleronomoi, so it's also heirs. So what is the condition? If we are children of God, then we are also heirs. And it's first class because we're based on verse 16, we're presuming it to be true for the sake of argument. Because he said earlier, we are children of God. So then he gives us these two subsets. So we're heirs, but we're heirs in two ways. And Paul here uses a grammatical construction that combines conjunctions to say, on the one hand this, and on the other hand that. And that formula is men with a de. So Paul says, on the one hand, men, we're heirs of God by virtue of being the children of God. We've already said, if we're children, we're also heirs, right? And he said, we are children of God in verse 16. So on the one hand, we're heirs because we're children of God. But on the other hand, we're co-heirs, or we're heirs together with Christ, providing we engage in his suffering in order that we may also be glorified with him. So there's one last little nugget as we look at that, our heirs in two different ways. In verse 16, when Paul says that we are children of God, he says we're tekna theou. Tekna is a neuter noun meaning little children, generally speaking, prepubescent children. That's why it's neuter, right? So we're not huios or huioi of God in that verse, because huioi are children who have come of age, adult children. But tekna theou are children who have not yet come of age, because in Romans 8 he's talking about heirs who are still waiting. So we're not of age yet. We've not received what's coming to us fully yet. Let's keep that in mind, and let's jump forward to Revelation chapter 21, verse 7, and we'll take a look at another instance of this, in this case, the verb for inheriting. So here we go. This one is my translation, Revelation 21, 7. The one who overcomes shall inherit, kleronomese, it's it's future active indicative third person singular. He, she, or it shall inherit these things, and I shall be to him a God, and he shall be to me a son. So he shall inherit, the overcomer, the one who overcomes, the victor, the one who remains faithful unto the end, using some of the other language from Revelation with the same word. He shall inherit these things, and I shall be to him a God, and he shall be to me a son. But here's the cool thing. The word son here is not teknon, not a prepubescent son, but it is huios. It is a son who has come of age. Here at the end, a child who has come of age shall inherit the fullness of what has been set aside for him by his or her father, because we're talking generically here. We're not talking about a male, an andra. We're talking about anthropos, a person, in this case, huios, a grown offspring. So pretty great stuff. I inherit an inheritance because I am an inheritor, and I will inherit as an overcomer, one who remains faithful unto the end, and receive what has been prepared for me. And ultimately that means that God will be to me a God, and I will be to him a son, and that applies to all for whom the overcoming applies. It's a great little word group. Kleronomeo, I inherit. Kleronomia, the feminine noun, inheritance, and kleronomos, the masculine noun, an inheritor. Good stuff. Hope you got something out of it. And until we see one another again, charis kai orene humin, grace and peace to you.